We continue on our trek through Florida, this time moving a little bit further south. We leave Daytona International Speedway and go to what was formerly the season finale. So from the opener to what was once the finale circuit, the Homestead Miami Speedway, 1.5 miles seated their course in Homestead Miami in Florida. It is such a beautiful venue, such a great racetrack as well. And it's getting set to go for the second to last race in the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the AutoZone 200. My name is Ola Ripple. I've got Al Kozlowski joining me in the booth today with Rob Melnick, once again behind the cameras for today's race. Oh my goodness me, Al, it has been such a crazy season. It's not quite over yet, though. We still got ourselves that one race remaining at Las Vegas after the day is all done and sorted.
Well, Nolan, this is probably one of my favorite tracks here. I've had pretty good success, but as I'm watching these guys in practice, there's been extremely difficult rear handling problems with these cars. I don't know if it's a cooler track or what it is going on here, but well, I don't know. Typically all week we've been watching a lot of green flag races going on, no cautions whatsoever, and I would expect the same tonight. But the way these guys are handling on the track right now during practice, this might be a tough one.
Practice is just drawing to a close, so before we get things sorted for qualifying, let's take a quick step back and pay the sponsors their dues. And we'll be right back after these quick messages.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do. Get in the zone! AutoZone.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Qualifying underway for the AutoZone 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway for round number 11 of the first season of 2021 of the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series. Chris Johnson currently sits on pole position with a 30.867. The only driver to break into that 30-second range so far. Course, though, only 6 times been set, and as we say that, Wes Dobbs, top of the timing charts by almost a tenth.
Yeah, we're going to see 30.4s knocking on the door here in a little bit. That 30.7 that Chris Johnson and that 48 machine is not going to stand strong. These guys have been running practices at 30.4s, 30.5s on their qualifying setup. So we ought to be seeing some 30.4, 30.5 knocking up here quick.
So far, only 9 cars have set laps so far. Of course, you do have to remember we do have another 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And, of course, these guys have 2 laps to set the last they want. So they can always get that chance to reset if they don't like that first run-up lap. It is worth noting that there is a pretty big story that has developed just in the last couple minutes here for the championship battle. And that is Mr. Boyd Hogan. He is not going to be in the championship fight anymore. He's currently in the points lead with about 13 points, I believe, on Jonathan Delaney. But he will not be able to make that season finale. So the only way he's going to be able to take that championship is if he comes out really strong tonight and hopes that everybody else that he's battling for that title does really, really poorly in the last race at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Boyd Hogan is going to run the road to pro. It's another series here on iRacing. So I wish him the best of luck in that division there. And we will miss him on the track. But I know there's about 35 other drivers that will not miss him at all. They stand a great chance of being able to get up there in the victory lane without Boyd being on the track here. So my pick to win tonight is going to be I think it's a 22 of Travis Manning. And look at Travis Manning knocked a 30.540 up there. So he's right now on the leaderboard. And there goes Boyd Hogan, 30.402.
Good old 10th and a half there for Boyd Hogan. Not terribly surprised at that one. It's so certainly not the first time we've seen him get such a dominant pole position like that. Will not be the last time we see that as well. Like you said, unfortunately, he is going to be running in the Road to Pro division, so we are wishing him the best of luck, but that means he is going to be effectively out of the championship battle coming into the day. Speaking of the Devil, his biggest points contender all season, Jonathan Delaney, clocks in right beside him on that front row, just half a tenth behind.
Well, Jonathan Delaney, I've watched a couple races with Jonathan this week, and he has led the field and won the races on every one I've watched, about 3 of those, at a whopping 6-second gap between him and second place. Clean air is extremely important here. If you're not the leader, you're stuck in dirty air. Dirty air will make your car handle irregularly. It will give you a push. It's almost like you're driving through drywall. I mean, it's extremely rough, the dirty air at this track. So if you're in a lead, you've got clean air in front of you, you stand a chance of walking away from the rest of the field. As we will see tonight, we'll see 4, 5, 6-second gaps between first and second and third.
Fastest time so far is a 30.402. It looks like we'll only get 25 of the 33 registered drivers setting laps for today. Qualifying is completed. The checkered flag flies. Let's take you on over now to the national anthem.
Drivers, start your engines!
The national anthem has been sung and the words of the Grand Marshal have been given. Let's take a run on down through your starting grid going into today's race. Boyd Hogan is sitting on pole position at the moment with Jonathan Delaney right beside him in that second place. Travis Manning is sitting in third with Colton Harvey sitting beside him in row number 2. Row 3 runs out with Tanner Love and Dan Shaboon, Chris Johnson, and Nick Robinson, 7th and 8th. Rounding up the top 10 are Greg Wyszynski and Wes Dobsell.
And moving on further down the line, we got Clayton Hoffman in the 11th, Kyle LeBrie in 12th, Brian Johnson 13th, John Mullins is 14th, Craig Johnson is 15th, Russell Burton 16th, Kenny Powell 17th, Joshua Schaffner 18th, Chad Sullivan 19th, and Jeffrey Souza in the 20th position.
21st is going to be Justin Belmonte with Wayne Grassi in the 22nd position, Christopher Hill 23rd, Jaden Profit 24th, Randy Drumhiller, the last driver to set a qualifying time at 25th. Drivers that did not set qualifying laps are David Gervais, Clifton Cockrell, Will Barlow, Jeff Shutt, Jeremy Garrison, Donnie Gatton Jr., Cecil Keith, and Paul Olson, rounding out a 33-car field for today. The pace car just started to lead the field on out for their one and only pace lap here, Al.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at ButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years...
Well, it looks
Well, hopefully
like
everybody can hear us now. We've had a little bit of difficulties there for a momentary. Lost about 13 and a half minutes of broadcast.
Part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We only realized that about 5-7 laps ago. We've been working on it ever since, trying to get that fixed. Looks like we've gotten said issues completely sorted, though, which is, of course, the good news. We are, of course, 21 laps in and still running green here for the AutoZone 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Quite a lot of action has happened in the early stages. Looks like, though, we're starting to see this pack breaking on up here into their separate groupings here, Al.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of action, as everybody was able to visually see. They couldn't hear us commentating about it, but we've lost about 13 and a half minutes here. Now we've got a battle. It looks like Jonathan Delaney is slowly reeling in Boyd Hogan. The comfortable dirty air cushion that I thought Jonathan was putting between him and Boyd Hogan, I think he's getting tired of it. He wants to lead this thing. He's got this down to about a half a second, and he's starting to run the higher line. So when he do that, he's starting to cool off his tires a little bit more. But as you see, he just hit the wall. So maybe he's having problems. That's why he's running that high line. I mean, maybe he ate those tires up. If you run in that gray area towards the white line of these turns too long, you will eat them tires up, and it'll make this thing not handling the turns at all.
Might as well. This is very much a momentum track, and you can actually, if you can run it right, you can actually make a lot of ground up on that high line. You just got to make sure that you run it right, and I think that's what kind of Delaney has been flirting with, trying to get that run that he needs off of these corners. Of course, that hit with the wall has cost him severely. He's brought back by half a second as a result of that, so he's going to have to build all of that back up again. But this is kind of a pattern that we've been seeing with Delaney here in the past here, Al. He usually kind of falls back a little bit in the first stages of a green flag run, and then right around the middle portion, that's where he starts to get the hammer down and starts to reel in the race leaders. So I think he's kind of got, we have like the short term setups and the long term setups. I think he's got a medium term setup. It's really good once the tires get fully up to temperature and once they're worn down just a little bit, but he does tend to drop back a bit more as he gets closer to the pit window.
You got to remember, a lot of factors will come into play on the handling of these cars. Just like in a real life car, the less fuel you have, the more handling issues you have, and that doesn't change at all with these iRacing setups. The same thing happens. The lower the fuel gets in these cars, the more the rear end gets a little bit more squirrelier. We're at 24 laps, 25 laps. They're at half a fuel tank right now. So we should probably start seeing about 15, 16 more laps. These cars getting ill handling. And as I say that, it's like Greg Wyszynski in the 2 car. His car is already starting to get squirrely on the back end of there. So he was sitting in comfortably in the 9th, and he just lost it and went back into 11th, as he's going to regroup and try this all over again.
Now on the inside of Jeffrey Suzan, trying to see if he can maintain that gap here. Looks like he's not going to be able to do so. He's going to have to slot back in line behind that number 29 car before he can really work his way up there. Another battle just behind him is Joshua Schofner with Wayne Grossi. They've been side by side for over a lap now, the pair of these guys. And they have got, I believe that is Travis Manning right behind them. Remember, Manning started 3rd, ended up dropping all the way back to 21st, though, after he got extremely loose in turn number 1. And as a result, he's had to work his way back up. But he is back up to 15th now in just about 20 laps time.
Well, it's sad to see that happen to Travis. He is, if nobody caught that during the earlier part of this broadcast, Travis Manning is my pick to win the race tonight. So hopefully, and he looks like he's starting to regroup a little bit here, and he's passing on the inside and holding that line. The inside line here is not really a passable line you want to do unless you have a very great handling car, because these cars start to push up. They can't really hold the line too well, and they'll drift up into the track towards the wall. And if somebody else is out there, you're going to meet them.
He's really putting on a charge here, though. He's now side by side with Schofner. He's made his way up into 14th, trying to get 13th now. Down into turn number 1 here. He is going to get this one done nice and easy. Schofner kind of washes wide off of the racing line and up into the marbles. That allows a very easy pass for Manning to get his way through. It looks like there are a couple more battles that are trying to shape up throughout this running here. Look at Schofner, though, trying to cut back here on Manning into turn 3. That's getting a bit tight there, boys.
Yeah, they'll drift. They'll drift up into the car above them if they're not cautious. Look at the battle going on behind them. We've got Wayne Grossi, Kyle LeBrie, Chad Sullivan, and Kenny Powell trying to get in the mix of this.
Indeed we do, and it looks like that 21 car, Chad Sullivan, just had a close scrape with the wall. David Gervais had to go a little bit evasive. That scared Powell down to the inside a bit more, but he has managed to keep it together so far. So Powell is going to now be side by side with David Gervais, but here we can see how powerful that outside line can be. If you can get the momentum out the corner, there's just nothing the guy on your inside is going to be able to do about it.
But you got to remember that air from the inside car trying to pass you will kind of pull you. If you're on the outside, you see how close David Gervais and Kenny Powell get to each other. But if Kenny Powell was able to work that the air just right with his car, he can almost get David Gervais' car so uncontrollably loose that he will hit the wall. And what he wants to do is get as close to that car as he can. The 24 gets as close to the 5 and then drift down a little bit, and that'll yank the rear end of David Gervais around, and he'll catch that wall.
Oh yeah, it's definitely kind of a risky business to do, as you can just see how close they get in 1 and 2. I mean, it's absolutely nuts how close these guys have a tendency to get all the way down the back straightaway, and they're still keeping Chad Sullivan nice and tight with them, and now Sullivan's going to be under fire here from Powell as well. I'll tell you what, Kenny is really trying to throw his weight there onto the bottom side, trying to get some kind of run here, and he's actually going to complete that pass now on David Gervais.
Yeah, Kenny Powell is using up his equipment. A lot of times you kind of expect the driver on the top line there to concede and give you the pass because they don't want to stand a chance of you drifting up into them. But we're seeing some battling going on. These guys are not wanting to give anything away.
No, they certainly are not. I believe you got a battle up for third here as well. Dan Shamoon is having to go here at 10 or 11 to turn 1. Love backs off and allows Shamoon to kind of get the underside of turn number 1 there. It makes that a very easy pass up into that final podium position.
Yeah, you see that little scrape that Jonathan Delaney had earlier on here has caused him some damage to that car. It is not performing like it did at the beginning of this race. So he has some damage to that car that we're probably going to show its ugly little face here in another 15 or 20 laps. We're probably going to see his car getting extremely loose.
We're about halfway through that first fuel run. Remember, it's about 68 laps estimated maximum on the run of fuel here. Well, we're on lap 34 right now, so we're about a quarter of the way now through this 134 lap race. I want to say about 100 miles, give or take. 50 miles, give or take, have been completed at the moment.
Did I just hear right now? Is Russell Burton pitting?
I would wonder why. He is. Russell Burton coming down pit road for the 10th position. That is a very, very interesting call from Burton there. I'm not sure what he's thinking, or if this is going to benefit for him, or if something happened to that machine.
I do not think that was a wise choice, because that means if he's got 134 laps, he has to run roughly about 100 more laps on 2 more sets of tires. So if he can't run more than 35 or 40 laps on a set of tires, he's going to have trouble.
Well, by this logic, if he pits every 35 laps, he's going to have about 20 laps to go yet by the time he gets to the end of the life on his final stint. I don't know what to make of this one. That is very, very usual. It's not like he's trying to get the undercut, because the rest of the guys, we're not expecting them to come down for at least another 15 laps yet.
Well, let's watch his times compared to the leaders and see if those fresh tires, it might be, I don't know, it might be a good call. I don't know. It's a weird strategy. That's really too early to be trying to pit strategy here, but let's watch his times compared to the leaders. As he gets extremely loose, and he's going to get loose and hit the wall. Yeah, that didn't work out great for him.
Slided to the inside, too.
Riding around backwards on the front stretch. It's like Russell Burton is probably going to call it. He's towing his car.
No caution. We stay green. Just lost it on the cold rubber, like you said. Kind of got to the apron, and that did him in. Slammed that inside wall pretty decently there, and car just came around him. And since he was off the racing surface, no caution for the number 29 machine. He is going to have a very rough tow back to the pits, because he's about as long as it's going to take to get back to the pits, because remember, the towing takes place from where you're at, and it goes around the length of the track, so he's going to have to make pretty much a full lap behind that tow truck, technically, as to make it around here, so he's got a long tow ahead of him.
Yeah, and that tow truck, it usually drives about 45, 50 miles an hour. It's not going around there at pace laps, so he's going to be 2 or 3 laps down by the time this is all said and done. More than likely, he's made some changes on pit road that he thought were going to be good, and it ended up not good for him.
It's going to be 45 minutes at least. Don't forget as well, he's got all that damage he's going to have to fix. It would not surprise me if he had some required repairs that he's going to have to get fixed as well before he can come back out. So not at all what he was hoping to have. Definitely very, very unfortunate there for Drumhiller.
Time up front, Boyd Hogan. He's knocked out a 2.7 second gap between him and second place, Jonathan Delaney, and third place, Dan Shamoon, is closing on Jonathan Delaney. He's roughly about a half a second behind him right now, and every lap he closes it in even further. So I go back and say I think Jonathan Delaney's car is hurt. He may be pitting here in another 10, 15 laps just to try to see what he can do to fix it.
Got to remember as well, he is running second place in the points, or what is at this point the net points lead, assuming Boyd Hogan does what he told us before the broadcast and not turn up for the season finale. So it could be a two-horse race here between Delaney and Hoffman, and it is important to note that Clayton Hoffman is about 9 points behind him right now in the overall championship standings, and right now Hoffman is running in the 8th position. So at the moment, Jonathan Delaney is actually getting set to put himself up in a very, very good position going into that season finale.
And look at my 22 here, that Travis Manning, he's worked himself back up in the 10th. He must not hurt that car that bad on that slide during the start. It looks like Colton Harvey and Russell Burton have taken their cars to the garage.
Now, Colton Harvey backed out a long time ago. He still had this qualifying setup loaded in. Combine that with the fact that he missed the initial start and just didn't see the point of running anymore, I guess. So he has parked it for the night. Russell Burton just now brought his machine back to the hauler. The crew elected it not possible to fix that car on pit road, or at least not enough that it would really make it worth it. Going back, though, to Travis Manning, like you said, he's running the 10th position right now. I mean, he didn't really hit anything. It is important to note when he had his slide back there on lap 1. As speaking of the devil, Clayton Hoffman comes down to the lane.
Yeah, that's a weird. I was watching that as well. As Greg Wyszynski got to the inside of him and went around him, he got a little squirrely. But I know you say Travis Manning didn't hit anything, but tire preservation is extremely important. He probably burnt off 5 or 6% of his tires on that slide, and that's going to take away on the long run how much tire grip he's going to have here. So he's going to have to pit probably before all these other guys, or his 9th position that he has right now, he may lose it.
Hoffman comes off the jacks. He's off and away. It looks like the number 92 machine has taken a set of 4 tires on that machine as he had about a 14.5-second pit stop. So what I'm thinking here he's trying to do is have a 2-stopper, and he's going to run it out on the tires. So he's going to try to make up the time on track being on fresher rubber for longer.
Yeah, let's watch and see. Let's watch that 92 car and see how his times compare to the leaders. The leaders are running. Well, let's see what the leaders are running right now here on times around this track. The last time by, Boyd Hogan ran a 33.529. Okay, now let's check and see what we're going to be running with Clayton Hoffman here. Clayton Hoffman's going to come around here, and let's see what his first lap on his fresh tires are going to be, as he's just clearly walking around the field. I expect this to be a 31, roughly probably about a 31.4, 31.5 lap, which is going to be about 2 seconds faster. He ran a 32, so it's about a 1.5 seconds faster than the leader. So right now he is sitting 1 lap down, but he stands a chance to get back in front of the leader, and if he does that, that might put him in a great position.
Christopher Hill and Donnie Gatton Jr. are both in the lane right now. David Gervais, John Mullins and Joshua Schofner were both just down to the lane as well. Clifton Cockrell is in as well, so is Wes Dobbs. So a lot of drivers are elected to go for the tire strategy. I guess they're deciding the time lost being on the older rubber, but taking the 1 fewer pit stop just is not worth it in the long run, or maybe they just didn't want to be too concerned about the fuel levels.
Well, you got, even we'll talk about Hoffman here. He's pretty much using his tires right now to try to get up there in front of Boyd Hogan so he can be back on the lead lap. So when
Hogan just pit, the devil. A lot of drivers are coming down this time by. A lot of drivers are calling out that they're pitting in. So we got about half the field now coming down to pit this lap. So look at the Hornets that's cars coming down to pit road here. This is actually very interesting Looks like usually we see a one-stopper play out in all these races here, Al. Looks like the two-stopper is going to be the way to go today, though.
Yeah, these tires, they wear out so rough. This track is extremely rough on tires. And I guarantee you, they ran 48 laps on those tires, and they're probably down to about 30% left on those tires. Dan Moon, Tanner Love, they're going to come down pit road now. And it's going to put Greg Wyszynski in the lead. And Greg is going to ride around on 49-lap tires. He's probably going to try to make this a two-stopper. I don't know how much that's going to benefit him unless he's got an extremely huge gap between him and some of these fresh tires.
The race leader is Greg Wyszynski, who just passed Nick Robinson on the exit of pit road. Of course, Wyszynski has yet to come down to pit lane. Drivers that are currently ahead of the guys that are in the pits right now, those that have already stopped, are Wyszynski, Grossi, Powell, Jeff Shutt, Jeffrey Souza, Paul Olsen, Cecil Keith, and Jeremy Garrison. And I'm watching Wyszynski right now. He just had Robinson blow past him on the inside, going about 15 miles an hour faster in the corners. So that just goes to show just how valuable the fresh rubber can be here. So we'll have to see here if Wyszynski is going to come down this time by or if he's going to elect to stay on out there. I actually kind of hope he does, because I really want to see here who's going to end up being on top if Wyszynski has to come down for that one extra pit stop. Because while these guys are faster now, remember, they're going to have to stop one more time because they still can't make it on fuel.
I'm looking at the times on these last pit stops, and it looks like Jonathan Delaney, he didn't fix any damage. So I don't know how much damage he got clipping that wall. I may have been wrong. He may not have had too much wrong with that car. It was just an ill-handling car trying to preserve, and then when the gap got too much between him and Boyd Hogan, he tried to close it in and ate up those tires.
What? And he's got a car that's really good for the middle run. It really is like a medium run setup. It's not really good on the short runs because he just falls back on the start because the car's all squirrely. But it's not good in the long run because that's when it really tightens up. It is really, really good in those middle runs, but he would need a caution then roughly every 25, 30 laps. And he's just not going to get that in this field of cars.
The only way the pitch category is going to work for the top 6 cars now is if the drivers that pitted are thinking to themselves, I need to get back on the lead lap. And they're using their equipment up, trying to get through the field back onto the lead lap. What that's going to do, obviously, is when these drivers pit, they're going to be...
Oh, well, heads up, one sideways. Kyle Labrie just slammed the wall front straightaway just out of turn number 4. How that was not a caution, I have no idea. I think he might have been trying to come down pit road. That area just came out of pit road. Discord's restarting on his stream, so we might be good.
We might have sound back. I don't know if you
Hey,
can.
I think we got it.
All right. Well, we're just having so many difficulties tonight. Discord is not being our friend tonight. Welcome back. I don't know how long we'll have you, but we will just keep on chatting away and try to make this as exciting as we can. Obviously, you can watch the stream, but you won't be hearing a lot of our voices coming through here to kind of tell you how we feel about what's going on.
So if you missed it, and in case this wasn't picked up earlier, we are having a few production issues tonight. So at the moment, we are kind of doing this radio style. We got a little automated system that's clicking around to what it believes are the most exciting moments on track. Obviously, we'll try to follow that in real time with you as well. But we do apologize if we're talking about something that you aren't seeing on screen. We'll try to do this radio style and give you all the descriptions of what's going on elsewhere on the track to make sure that you can still get more or less the full experience of a normal ISCA broadcast.
And Nolan, we still have Kenny Powell in the 24 machine that's currently in third. He's on 63 lap tires. Paul Olson in the 43 car, he's in 10th position. He is also on 63 lap tires. And Jeffrey Souza in the 12th position is also on 63 lap tires. I believe what they're trying to do here is they're going to try to cut this in half. By doing this, if this works out for them the way they're thinking, those other guys that just pitted, the rest of the field, the other 30 cars that already pitted, they're going to have to pit one more time. Okay, and that could give them, those drivers that are 63 laps on their tires, that could give them a huge advantage. Is it going to work out for them? I don't know. I've never seen anybody try that, but I wish them the best of luck, and let's see how this unfolds.
Right now, the driver who is furthest up in that tire run is Kenny Powell. He's running at fourth right now, though. Keep in mind, he had pretty much fully lapped all the way up to Nick Robinson before, and now, though, he is significantly slower. Like, we're talking, he is about 1 to 2 seconds a lap slower than every other driver on the track so far, especially for the likes of guys like Boyd Hogan. It is still important to note that he has one pit stop to make, but so does everybody else. So this is going to be very interesting. Jeffrey Souza has just called out that he is going to be pitting in this next time by. So that is the 29 car. He is the only other driver that is elected to try to stretch it out to the halfway point, and he has finally decided to yield from the 14th position.
Well, we have Paul Olson's out there riding around with Kenny Powell. They're going to try to stretch this out. In order for them to make this work, they've got to run this to about a 65 or 66 lap run here. I just don't know if that's going to be the wise choice. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to work. I honestly think that, maybe the two-stopper just might be the way to go. Besides, for Kenny, it's going to be really close on fuel anyway. You've got to keep in mind as well that he's only got 68 laps, give or take, of fuel that he can fit into that tank at any one given point. So it's going to be a rough one for Kenny all the way to the end, because he's going to drop well down the order here when he eventually comes in for his pit stop in about 2 to 3 laps time here.
Oh, Kenny Powell's coming in now. Kenny Powell is coming in this time by at 66 laps. So I don't believe, unless he preserves, I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to make it to the end.
He might have enough, but it's going to be a stretch for sure. Remember, when you make it 68 laps on fuel, halfway is roughly lap 67. He's on lap 67 just now, so he made about 66 laps on one tank of fuel. You can make it about 68. So he might have literally just enough to make it through to the end of the race.
I think Paul Olson, he thought to himself, as he rides the low line here, trying to save what fuel he's got, he's on 67 lap tires, coming to 68, and he's running that low line. He's just trying to save as much fuel as he can in his equipment here, but he's going to come down pit road, and he might possibly be out of gas. I'm not positive here. So let's see if he gets down to speed, if he's still rolling.
No, that car shut off. He is out of fuel. That number 43 car just coasting right now into pit road. Does manage to make it, though, but that car was shut off. He did indeed run out of fuel. Actually, I'm looking at him back here. He ran out all the way in turn 1.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to work out for Paul Olson. He is 67 laps is what he was able to run. So he's got to be able to run another 65, let's see, 66 laps. So if he does possibly make it round, he's going to run out of gas before he comes back around the start-finish line. But now when we give that to fact, Kenny Powell has got 1 lap on his tires, and everybody else has 22 laps on their tires.
Coming about 16 to 22 is the range here.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot fresher tires on this, so he can work his way through the field. Jeffrey Silva is on 3-lap tires, and he's definitely going to have to pit again. I don't know. Kenny Powell, he's about 66. He probably is going to have to pit again. I don't think he's going to have enough in the tank unless he just starts saving and hopes these guys have to pit again in another, 40 laps here.
That's the thing, is they are going to have to pit here. They can't make it to the end, and at the moment, here's the other thing, though. Even though Kenny Powell's tires are about 20 laps fresher, he's still less than a second faster than the guys like Boyd Hogan. So this is not going to be nearly enough to get him up to the front again. It might get him back, kind of back up to the front of the guys that are laps down, but he's going to have to wait for all the other guys to come in and pit again before he's going to make up those spots.
Yeah, but what he can do is on his last pit stop, those guys that just stayed out, they can take no tires on their last pit stop and just roll around on 2 more laps with those older tires. That would be, instead of it being a 30-second pit stop in there, it'd probably be more like a 14 or 12. So Kenny Powell is working his way through the field, but he's not working himself through there fast enough to get him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, no, not quite fast enough to get him on the lead lap, indeed. It's certainly a bit unfortunate for him here that he's being kind of stuck in the position that he's in. It's not a very pleasant sight to see at all. It looks like we might have a battle here for about a couple spots, actually. I know Wayne Grossi has just passed John Mullins. I believe that is what's showing on screen at the moment. Just up front, you got David Gervais trying to pick up another lap back on Wes Dobbs.
And we got Dan Shamoon in that 23 machine. He is reeling in the 71 of Nick Robinson. And let's see where it might pick the win. Travis Manning in 22nd or 8th position, a 22 car. He's working on the bumper of Clayton Hoffman. Yeah, and that error running out of fuel had put Paul Olson 2 laps down. The odds of him being able to get back on the lead lap, if he gets 1 lap back, he's got to hope and pray for a caution. Now, a caution will screw all the pit strategies up here for these guys. I don't know if any of these guys would come in now. They're only at 27 lap tires, but if we have a caution in 20 more laps, I highly doubt we'll see guys coming to pit road.
At the moment, it really is just kind of a wait-and-see game at this point. I know that for the guys up front, we can definitely see them come down, at least for fuel. Not sure about tires, though. But at this point in time, actually, yeah, we can expect everybody to come down. Because if the caution comes out right about now, you will be able to come down, get a full tank of gas, and you will easily be able to run the race out completely to the end. The only question is going to be, are you willing to put your last set of tires through that torture for the guys that still are running out there on the track right now?
Yeah, because you got to remember, Kenny Powell's on 8-lap tires. He definitely is not going to pit. He may come in for fuel, but he's not going to change those tires.
It's going to be interesting for Powell, isn't it? Because we got to really wait and see here how this is going to play out. And we really won't know how effective this strategy will end up being until the other guys come down for their second round of pit stops. And I believe they went, what was it, like about 40 laps, give or take, on their last set where we saw people started to come down. We're about 10 laps away from that now. Can Kenny Powell maintain this speed before he comes through? See, I don't know if he can, because he's still only about half a second quicker every single lap. The 83 just give it a bumper. Will Barlow just tapped the back end. The Corey Johnson going into turn number 1. They both got a little loose, but they both managed to hang on.
Yeah, I expect these guys to take it a little bit longer on this next pit stop. I would be surprised to see anybody pitting until they get about 50 laps on those tires. So that's about another 20 laps. Right around lap 97, 96, somewhere in there, we start seeing the pit road activity again.
Barlow still trying to battle with Jaden Profit through turns 1 and 2, and they have got Paul Olson coming up behind them on that fresher rubber. Still 1 lap behind, so Olson's going to have to be careful here because these are 2 guys that are battling for position up here in front. Barlow is trying to hang on, but it looks like Profit's going to give him a bit of space here and ease off to let that number 43 car through.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out knowing this pit strategy. This pit strategy does not make much sense to me, and I'm eager to see, is it going to work for him? I'm trying to do the math and how much time each one of these guys that have pitted, 22 laps earlier than Kenny Powell, how much time they're going to need on pit road, and see if that's going to be enough time to not only get Kenny Powell his lap back, but put him up in the top 10.
Well, so here's the thing about that. Usually when we come to an oval track like this, the question is what strategy is going to be used? Will it be the 1-stopper or the 2-stopper? And there are pros and cons to both. The pros for the 2-stopper is that you can spend a lot more time on fresher rubber. The con, of course, is that you have to spend a lot of extra time on pit road that you're going to have to spend on the track making up. And meanwhile, for the 1-stopper, you spend less time on pit road, but you're going to lose a lot more time being on worn tires. Usually people have gone for the 1-stopper because there's just no regain the lost time of a second pit stop before the end of a race. So usually people go for a 1-stopper. That hasn't been the trend here today, though. We've only seen 3 cars elect to go for that halfway 1-stopper. Everybody else has been going for the 2. So it is a very, very interesting trend, kind of switch that we've seen compared to every other race we've seen throughout the entirety of the season so far.
Well, yeah, you got to remember, even if these guys that are on older tires and these fresher tires, there's only roughly about a 1.5 second gap in lap speeds. So it takes about 32 seconds to get around this track. So it would take them 30 laps before they put that car a lap down. So this might be genius. I mean, I've got radio chatter that Clifton Cockrell is going to come down pit road. He's in the 27th position, and he's only got 36 laps on those tires. So I have no idea what he's thinking.
He is one of those drivers that elected to go for the 2-stop. Pitted 36 laps ago. He's in pit road right now. He is a lap down, so I wonder if that has got anything to do with it. Check, he's 2 laps down, so he might just be parking it for the night.
We got some activity chatter going on with Dan Shamoon and Nick Robinson. Let's take a look at that right quick. It looks like Dan Shamoon is wanting to pass Nick Robinson. He's been patiently waiting in the inside there, or in the back of him, and he's growing very impatient lately. And this is unlike either one of these drivers. They usually have great patience and they're just trying to preserve. But these guys running into 5th and the 4th position, I think they want to swap spots, and it's not going to work well for them if either one of them make an error.
Cockrell just exits pit road just underneath them. They're now on the back straightaway. This battle, they're coming up on the battle for 20th and 21st as well. So far, though, Shamoon is still electing to stay in line. He hasn't really made any really daring dives so far to the inside line. Now, if we were to see some of the guys starting to come on down to really do that 2-stop or follow the trend of the first stint, this would be about the time where we'd see those lead lap cars start to come on in. We've got 49 laps remaining. We've made it about that long on the first run, and we're coming up on now. Some guys are already over 40 laps now on these fresher tires. Speaking of which, Kenny Powell just made up another spot for good on Jaden Profit. So Powell is continuing to start to pick off cars in the order.
Yeah, there goes Paul Olson. He just got 1 lap back by passing the leader, Boyd Hogan. And so now what he has to do is he needs to come around this and try to give some dirty air. Now, Boyd Hogan is stuck in dirty air because he is behind Paul Olson, and that's going to slow him down, maybe give a little bit of grace to Jonathan Delaney. That's 5 seconds in second place behind Boyd Hogan.
Dan Shamoon tried to have a pass at Nick Robinson on the bottom side of the turn number 1. Clifton Cocker, though, who was on fresh tires, went up the middle and put them 3 wide, and Dan Shamoon got scared over kind of just barely onto the transition. He lost a lot of time, about half a second, up front to the 4th place machine. So Nick Robinson has just been bought a lot of time. Powell is now up to 19th, and he is now past the 2nd place car of Jonathan Delaney. So he is still picking off these lead lap cars, and he is almost on the lead lap now. The question is, Boyd Hogan is all the way in turn 4 right now, so it's still a long way up before he gets to him.
Yeah, what would be the saving grace for Kenny Powell is if he gets some clean air. If he gets enough of a gap, about 1.5 seconds between him and the car in front of him, to keep that clean air, that would preserve his tires and let them last to the end of the race. But I don't know if he's going to be patient enough to do that. Again, he is on 20 laps fresher tires than the rest of the field, excluding Paul Olsen.
Cockrell is blazing up the inside of Kenny Powell right now on the 20-lap fresher tires, and Powell is going to be under some serious fire here because at this rate, he's not going to be even close to taking the race lead away from Boyd Hogan in this pit cycle, and they still have yet to come in. Speaking of which, Clayton Hoffman has just come down the pit road for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, that might be a smart move right there because he definitely can make it to the end, and then those tires are going to be fresher. Where he's going to sit is going to be interesting. Is he going to have enough time to get back up there and get around? And I'm sitting here watching Kenny Powell in that 24 machine. He gets around Craig Johnson in 83 pretty easy, and that's going to put him remotely closer. He needs to still get around John Mullins and Will Barlow to get in front of Boyd Hogan.
Manning Hill coming this time by. Clayton Hoffman comes out, and he is, looking at it now, he is actually 14 seconds behind Kenny Powell. He'll be able to run that in pretty quickly, though, so this is going to get mighty interesting here. Joshua Schofner is also down to the lane this time. Powell is now back into the pluses for his pit strategy here. He's up to 14th. Meanwhile, Delaney, Shamoon, and Love are all coming in as well this lap.
So this might answer a lot of our questions. What's going to happen after this pit stop? We'll start to see, is this idea of doing it in a 2-stop, is it intelligent or was it a huge mistake? Because now Kenny Powell's on 24 lap tires and the rest of these guys are going to be on fresh rubber. So let's see how this works out.
Robinson just came down to pit lane. I see Brian Johnson is in as well, so is Jeff Shutt, Justin Belmonte. Pretty much everybody at the moment. We're just waiting really on Boyd Hogan, Wachinski, Sullivan, and Grassi. Those are the guys that have yet to come down. Looks like Robinson and Wachinski have both just come down to pit road, leaving Boyd Hogan, the sole stander out there on the lead lap right now. And he's also into the lane. This is going to move Kenny Powell all the way up into 3rd at the moment. And Kenny Powell has got about 38 seconds that he has to reel in on Boyd Hogan here before he's going to be able to really take that win. Should know he's got Christopher Hill, though, who's on fresh rubber, just 3 seconds behind him.
Well, Boyd Hogan's on pit road right now.
And it's going to be a long way to go for Kenny Powell, who's just now off turn number 4. Will he be able to take the lead, though, is going to be the big question here, because that'll be really the first time he's seen Kenny Powell in the lead for a while. I don't think so, though. Boyd Hogan is already off and away. Kenny Powell is just behind him. They actually might be side by side here. Here's the clincher, though. Kenny Powell, his strategy has not worked. There is Boyd Hogan just behind him. Christopher Hill is going to immediately retake the lead around the outside of the back straightaway, and now Kenny Powell can only go backwards on old rubber.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go backwards because his times were extremely slower than those guys on this fresh rubber. So he'll go backwards, but his thought pattern is if he can just finish in the top 10, he'll be just fine. Christopher Hill is on 4-lap older tires than Boyd Hogan, and he has now got a comfortable 1.17 seconds gap between him and second place. Let's watch Kenny Powell see how far he drops in the standings here.
He just lost another spot out. Oh, excuse me. Wow, okay, my vocal cords really just said, yeah, we're not doing that tonight, are we? So, as I was saying, Christopher Hill, the gap is shrinking. It's down to 0.8 of a second because, remember, Boyd Hogan came out and he pitted 3 laps earlier. So while Christopher Hill got the drop on him with the undercut, Boyd Hogan has 3-lap fresher tires. Mostly he has utilized them to full effect here. He's already closed into 0.6 of a second now.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 drivers, Randy Drumhiller and it looks like Kyle Labrie, that are still riding around on 40-plus lap tires. So I don't know. The strategy's all goofed up with these guys. I can't figure out what they're trying to pull off here. But definitely, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt, that the 2-stopper was not the wise decision for Kenny Powell and Paul Olson.
We're watching that battle for the lead now. Boyd Hogan going to go 3 wide up the inside of 2-lap cars, and nothing Christopher Hill can do about it. One of those cars gets into the wall. That's Randy Drumhiller. Christopher Hill just got boxed in by Chad Sullivan and Randy Drumhiller. Nothing he could do about it. He was a sitting duck for when Hogan came by and swept the lead out from underneath him.
Yeah, Boyd Hogan is on a mission, but Christopher Hill is not letting him get that far ahead. He's not liking that pass at all, so he's going to try to stay with him as much as he can, but will he eat up his equipment by doing so?
By the time the pit cycles are complete, only 15 cars remain on the lead lap. 3 cars have DNF so far. Those machines are, of course, Jeremy Garrison, Russell Burton, and Colton Harvey. Colton Harvey, the earliest to retire, he parked it after not making the start and then loaded in his qualifying setup to just add insult to injury. Still green flag race. We have had 2 crashes in the race, both on the front straightaway after some mild contact with the outside wall, but no cautions have come out for either of them as they were off the racing surface. Boyd Hogan continues to lead as we're with 35 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be the Boyd Hogan show here. He's got a great handling car tonight, and he's able to get through these lap traffic fairly easy. They're not putting up much of a battle as he comes to the inside. Looks like it's going to be, is that Paul Olson? He's going to put Paul Olson in at 51. No, it's not Paul Olson. Who's in a 51 car?
51 machine. That would be Kyle Labrie.
Kyle Labrie just went down another lap, so now he is now 3 laps down. Yeah, I'm trying to watch the race and not concerned too much about the driver's name. That's not a good way to do this thing here. But Boyd's got lap traffic in front of him here that he's got to contend with, and that's going to put him in the dirty air scenario. So let's see how this works out for him.
Well, you're wondering how far back Kenny Powell would drop. He's already 15 seconds behind, so he's already almost half a lap behind Boyd Hogan, and he's continuing to drop. He's down to 9th place now, still up 8th where he started today, but definitely that one-stop strategy has not been working out for him. It's like I said, when he passed Boyd Hogan for the lead, he's like, yeah, he's in the lead, but with old tires and guys on fresh rubber right behind him, he's only gonna go backwards, and unfortunately, that is the trend for him at the moment.
Well, definitely what Boyd Hogan does not want to see is these guys in front of him just battling side by side. He knows this is brewing up to be a bad scenario here. So he's thinking to himself, I got to get around these guys, and they're not going to let him around because they've got to run their line too. They can't just, stay high and take a chance on hitting this wall. As Boyd Hogan goes to the inside of the 25 machine and passes him fairly easy. Now he's got side-by-side action right in front of him.
Guys that are side-by-side are Chris Johnson and Joshua Shoker running 12th and 13th respectively. You got Wachinski running 14th just behind them, so he's almost lapped up to the top 10 at this point. These guys are still going up really hard with each other. Jeffrey Souza is just up there as well in 11th, so it's a 4-car battle right now that Boyd Hogan is stuck behind. thing is, he's got 2.5 seconds back to Christopher Hill, so he really doesn't have to worry too much. He still has a nice, comfortable cushion he can work with.
Yeah, and these guys are just trying their best just to stay on the lead lap right now is what they're trying to do. And I'm afraid that they're using up their equipment by doing this. They probably just need to go ahead and let that leader get around them and just be a lap down. You know, it's better to be a lap down finishing 10th, 11th than it is being 4 laps down sitting on pit road getting some damage fixed.
Well, Hogan is still continuing to kind of be strong out there. He's led a lot of the laps so far over the course of the day, almost all of them, as a matter of fact. I know Jonathan Delaney was a bit close, and while we're here, might as well reiterate the whole points battle again. This could very well be the last win we see for Boyd Hoggan all the wins Hogan for a while here, because he is going off to compete in the Road to Pro Series. In that division, that of course means he will not be a contender for the championship in this season, because he's only 13 points out of Jonathan Delaney. He can win here and extend that lead a little bit, but he's not going to be able to hang on to that lead in the final race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
No, that's definitely going to be bad for him, but he's going to give a valiant effort to give himself enough of a cushion so when it came to time for him to run Road to Pro, that he would stand a chance of keeping his lead.
Hey, getting into Road to Pro, it's no easy feat. I mean, he deserves it too. This is a guy who's got 7K I rating. He's among the best of the drivers that you can probably get, and there's a chance he could very well find himself in the Coca-Cola Eat NASCAR series if he performs well there. But it is a very, very competitive series, so we're hoping that all goes well for him there, because wouldn't that be something to see him being broadcasted on iRacing's Top World Championship?
That definitely would be. That's not an easy task to accomplish. I've had a good buddy of mine, Garrett Maines, who just is running in the Coke Series right now, and he's one hell of a driver, and he's finding it very difficult to compete with those guys. You got the top-notch drivers in that Coke Series right there. And those guys are they're just probably one level beneath a Cup driver in real life. I mean, they do stuff on them in those cars that make me in awe, you know. So I'm really impressed with how that Coke Series turned out, and I'm glad to see that Boyd Hogan's going to get a chance to hopefully run in that.
Well, it's no wonder that that the series is incredibly competitive as well, because you got to remember that those guys are racing for $200,000. So it's understandable that only the true best of the best will compete in that series, and that's why it's also so competitive as well. Is because $200,000, it's a lot of money. It's probably more than I'll be making in the next decade, if I have to say. So it's a really big deal to be up at that level of competition, and that, if Boyd Hogan is going into Road to Pro, I have to assume that is where he's aiming for, is to be up there. And again, we just have to wish him all the best, because that will truly be something to see him go all the way up to the top step of esports.
The nicest thing about iRacing is they don't care how much your granddaddy or your dad or your mom has in their pockets that they want to put towards the sport. They're only putting you in a division by your driving ability. So, I mean, Boyd Hogan could have the richest grandma and grandpa in the world, and they couldn't buy him a spot in the Coke Series. Boyd Hogan has to earn his spot in the Coke Series. It's not like in the real NASCAR world where if your granddaddy or your mom and dad have a pocket full of money, you can go race a race car with some of the top contenders out there. You have to earn a spot in the Coke Series. It's not given to you, can't be bought. It can't be donated to you, anything like that. You have to earn it.
Really big deal, and well, honestly, I think I might have a new favorite driver if I see Boyd Hogan up there, racing with the best guys out there on the official iRacing channel. Well, kind of getting back to the race, we're still running green. Almost 23 laps remaining. Hogan continues to extend his gap. Let's do a quick rundown of the field, actually, while we're at it. Boyd Hogan is leading 4 seconds ahead of Christopher Hill. Jonathan Delaney sits third, a second back from Hill. Shamoon and Robinson are battling for 4th and 5th at the moment. Tanner Love and Clayton Hoffman are sitting 6th and 7th. Travis Manning, Kenny Powell, Brian Johnson round out 8th, 9th, and 10th. And the only other 2 drivers on the lead lap after that is Greg Wachinski and Chris Johnson.
Yeah, getting back on Kenny Powell, we have got 23 laps left on this race. Okay, so Kenny Powell has already got 45 laps on his tires. That means he's got to go 60. He'll go 68 laps on a field run. So either he's preserving right now, or he's going to run out of gas before this race is over.
He is clutch and coasting. It is important to note as well. We can't go in car to show you as we normally would because of those production issues that we've been having. But he is, I promise you, he is very much clutch and coasting that car, trying to save whatever fuel it can get. A halfway point is 67 laps. He made it 66 last time by. He's got to make it 68 this time, so that's an extra 2 laps. And that is right at the cusp of what is doable in these cars at this place.
Well, we watched Paul Olsen run out at 67 laps. So dirty air may play a factor in all this stuff too. I mean, this dirty air, if nobody's kind of familiar with that, you hear it all over the place. Everybody's screaming, dirty air, dirty air, dirty air. Dirty air is kind of like, just like it says. I mean, it's air that's got kind of like a dirt feel kind of into it. And what that does is it's more difficult to drive through it. It makes your car handle extremely difficult. Managing wise, it will make you slower. That's why you see a lot of these leaders. They get out there and they just walk away from the field because the leader has clean air. There's absolutely nothing in front of them. Dirty air is what they're getting off these other cars that they're driving behind. So when you see these guys driving through dirty air, it gets their car a little loose and ill handling and will make them slower. So right now, surprisingly, Boyd Hogan has got a manageable 5-second gap between him and second place. And he is riding in dirty air from all these lap cars. So I don't know how he's doing it. He must have a great setup underneath that car.
Looks like second and third has started to close in here. That gap is just under half a second at the moment. They got one lap car between them, Jeff Shutt. They're going to turn one right now. And these are... One of those drivers is the second place runner in points right now, who is just trying to, at this point, it's going to be down between him and Clayton Hoffman. So Delaney is trying to get every single point that he can get up on Clayton Hoffman, because that's going to be one less point that he's going to have to worry about coming into the season finale here of the first season next week.
Now, knowing the draft could work for Jonathan Delaney and Christopher Hill, if they can get nose to tail and just push, they can force themselves through this dirty air, and they may quite possibly be able to catch Boyd Hogan with all the lap cars he's having to get around. And I'm watching Greg Wyszynski trying to take 10th position away from Kenny Powell, as Kenny Powell is sitting out there roughly about 26 lap older tires than Greg Wyszynski.
Coming up now to 15 laps remaining here next time by at the line. This race has kind of gone the way I kind of figured it would go. You know, things would kind of die off and this would become a race where you just kind of watch and see how the strategy is going to play out. We don't have a whole lot of battles going on over the track right now. It's, you know, a couple cars here, a couple cars there, but, you know, nothing very spectacular going on at the moment. So if you're wondering why you're not noticing why we're focusing on where we're talking, well, don't worry. You are not missing too much at the moment.
Yeah, we're not, we don't have a lot going on here. Everybody's just kind of working himself through the field and knocking down the laps. I've looked through the field to see if anybody's remotely doing anything spectacular, and they're just kind of cautiously waiting around, and they may be waiting too long. I mean, this is going to be just a matter of finishing this thing out. We don't have a lot of excitement going on. These guys aren't really battling for any positions right now.
That's kind of how a lot of Homestead races go. I mean, I've noticed that kind of the track at Homestead Miami Speedway, it does have a bit of an effect of that. You know, it can be pretty intense in the early stages on the restarts, and then it really just kind of dies off and becomes, you know, the single file race that we're all used to seeing at the moment. And I think that's kind of, again, it's what we're seeing here, which it does go to show that sometimes the sim really can mimic real life, because this is looking very similar to how real life races often look here.
Yeah, they get stretched out quite a bit. I don't even know what the temperature is. What's the air temp out here, Nolan?
Air temperature at the moment is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. We are February 25th in sim, about 2:12 in the afternoon. 95 degrees Fahrenheit down there on the racing surface with a wind speed northbound of 5 miles per hour.
And that would explain some of these lap times. That wind speed is extremely rough to push through, and these guys are managing it effortlessly, it looks like. I mean, even though their laps down, this is not an easy task. We're talking about speeds of upwards to 195 miles an hour on the straightaways on these, and they come into these turns and they're still rolling around at 150 miles an hour. So that's a lot of wind resistance coming towards you there. So they're doing it really well. I'm really impressed, and I didn't think it was going to be, honestly, a green flag all the way race. But these guys are showing their talent tonight.
Paul Olson is appearing to be having some struggles here. He is on the apron at the moment of the racing surface. I think he's trying to find his way back up there. Do you know what he's doing there, Al? It looked like he was trying to let the field through for a minute, but I thought for a second that potentially he might have been out of fuel again, but he's just... What is he doing down there?
I think he's just trying to get out of their way. His car may be pushing a lot. I mean, he is on 55 lap tires. So his car may be pushing real bad right now, and he's just trying to let these guys, get past it and make sure that he's out of their way so he doesn't cause a wreck.
Boyd Hogan is continuing to lead, and the gap is only extended. It's almost 6 seconds now, so it really is the Hogan show up in front. Not a whole lot new going on there. Not a whole lot of order changes that have been changed anywhere in the field, really. The most notable thing at the moment is Kenny Powell, who has continued to drop down the order. He is now outside of the top 10 after his one-stopper. I believe he's about to be overtaken by Josh Schofner. That is going to be the case for him. He's got Jeffrey Souza, a lap car just behind him. Souza did come into pit as well 14 laps ago.
Well, he has taught us, Kenny Powell and Paul Olson, they have taught us that we do not want to make this, if this race was an NIS race, which is the same lap, you don't want to do this in a two-stop field run. You definitely don't want to do that.
I think we made a one-stop because the two-stop has been the stop strategy.
No, I mean one-stop. I'm sorry, the one-stopper.
Yeah, it's been interesting, isn't it? Because like we said earlier, the one-stopper has been... Oh, whoa, look out! Hey, Powell just tagged Joshua Schofner in turn 1. They're both sliding now. They both managed to save it somehow. No, they don't! And looks like Robinson just got cleaned out. Caution flag is out for the first time today with 8 laps remaining.
Joshua Schofner is resting just pleasantly sitting there. It looks like it's at the 21, also sitting up to Chad Sullivan.
It's Joshua Schofner at the moment and Chad Sullivan. Those are 2 guys, and there is the base car going on by. You saw the couple cars stop right there. Unfortunately, due to these production issues that we've been having, all night long, doesn't look like we'll be able to get a replay for you guys. So you'll have to bear with me here. I'll try to explain it. But Josh Schofner tried to look at the inside of Powell. Powell just twitched a bit. I guess got unsettled by that. They made contact, slid way through the grass in turn 1. Both came screaming out back into the field, and Schofner cleaned out Nick Robinson, who just had absolutely nowhere to go.
If you can, hopefully the screen is pointing towards Joshua Schofner here. The rear of his car is dogtailing. I mean, it's not matching the front of his wheels at all. He's got some rear end damage excessive here. That thing is handling absolutely like garbage right now, I guarantee you. He's going to park that thing. If he doesn't park it, I'd be surprised. Now, the big question is, what would you do if you were a lap down car right now? Chris Johnson is a lucky dog, so he's going to get around. The 48 is going to get a wave around, okay? No, I take that back. We come back around. Jeff Shoup is a wave around. And Kenny Powell obviously caused that wreck, so he's not going to get back on the lead lap. But this is going to play extremely big odds against Boyd Hogan, because now he's going to have Jonathan Delaney right up with him. This is essentially going to be a shootout. We're going to have roughly about 6 laps left of this race. Now we're about to get some excitement going on.
Tell you what, looks like we got the production issues fixed just in time, because on cue we did manage to get that replay up and going for you guys. So what do you know? Well then, 7 laps to go here for the AutoZone 200. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for the green flag.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
And welcome back to the AutoZone 200. We are one lap to green here in this one, and it's going to be, I believe, 3 laps remaining. So a 3-lap shootout when we take the green flag here. Boyd Hogan looks like he has chosen the outside lane for this restart, and boy, oh boy, we're about to get some serious fireworks here. First caution we've seen all day caused by 2-lap cars. This is going to get exciting here as we're coming around turns 3 and 4 to take that green flag with 3 to go.
Bundle them all back up knowing this is going to be, if Boyd Hogan can get a great start, he can walk away from this with everybody side by side racing behind him. Now, if Christopher Hill in the inside gets to start just as well as Boyd Hogan does, this could end up being a phenomenal finish if he got a bumper to bumper like this.
Hogan's checking the field up here. He's about 15 miles an hour slower than the pace cars. Now he gets on the allow pedal. We're back racing again for what is hopefully going to be the final time today at Homestead Miami Speedway. 3 laps remaining. Can Boyd Hogan get it done? Christopher Hill's got a massive advantage here. He could very well get the run on him here. Big about contact behind as Robinson gets punted by Clayton Hoffman. Robinson still sliding but saves it. 3 wide behind, and we're still looking very clean and strong. Let's keep our eyes here on the race leader here because I don't. Oh, heads up! Dan Shamoon gets a huge bite and takes slap at this as well. Should know Kenny Powell is still on 66 lap old tires, trying to get that lap back. He is back on the lead lap. He is praying right now for a green white checker finish. 2 to go.
Yeah, this is probably, unless Delaney's getting squirrely underneath Dan Shamoon, it looks like there's contact made between Dan Shamoon and Jonathan Delaney, as Jonathan is in the inside trying to get past Dan Shamoon, and he makes a clean run, but is Dan Shamoon going to give it to him and let him have it, or is he going to stay on his bumper? It's like Dan Shamoon did not like the way Jonathan Delaney passed him there. Dan Shamoon's going to go the inside here.
White flag, battle on for the race lead. Christopher Hill is all over the back of Boyd Hogan. Gets that number 11 car, get the run that he needs on the 96 and go for the race lead. Hogan has led just about every single lap so far. The last thing he wants to do is lose it here in the final corner. Hill's got the run on the inside line, trying to throw it in there, but he pushes wide on the front end. Hogan comes off and turn number 4. He's going to hang on to win the AutoZone 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Hill finishes second. Tanner Love settles for third. Delaney manages to edge out Dan Shamoon for fourth.
Well,
and on cue, Tanner Love blows his motor just after the checkered flag. Unbelievable. What a finish.
amazing. That was amazing. Amazing. I think somebody, we have somebody that just hit the barrels right there. It looks like Jonathan Delaney at the end just kind of gave it up and do the old trick of hit the barrels.
Hit the barrels, and he got clobbered from behind as well by Travis Manning, who admittedly did not try to avoid him all that much. Hogan's going to burn it down to the front straightaway, though. Let's go on through, and we'll take you through the official post-race results.
Well, we got the winner, that 96 machine of Boyd Hogan, coming in second. is Christopher Hill. Third is Tanner Love. Fourth is Jonathan Delaney. Fifth, Dan Shamoon. Sixth is Clayton Hoffman. Seventh is my pick to win the race, Travis Manning. And we have eighth is Brian Johnson. Ninth, Nick Robinson. 10th is Greg Wachinski. 11th is Christopher Johnson. Wayne Grassi is in 12th. Kenny Powell ended up with a strong 13th finish. And Jeff Shook is in 14th. And John Mullins is in 15th.
Donnie Gatton Jr. sits in 16th with Will Barlow 17th. Steve Keith rounds out the cars in 18th on the lead lap. Greg Johnson and Jada Profit round out the top 20, 1 lap down apiece. Justin Belmonte is in 21st with Souza in 22nd. Paul Olson 23rd. Wes Dobbs 24th. Randy Drumhiller 2 laps down to 25th, along with Clifton Cockrell. Kyle Labrie 4 laps down to 27th. David Gervais 6 laps down to 28th. Joshua Schofinger 7 down to 29th. Chad Sullivan 8 down in 30th. Cars that did not finish the race are, of course, Jeremy Garrison, Russell Burton, and Colton Harvey. What a phenomenal race we saw today. Green almost at the end. What a heck of a finish indeed. That really shook up the strategies and everything like that. Made it a real sprint to the finish. Why don't we take another quick break here, and we'll be right back with the post-race show.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. We're going to have a chat with some of our race winners here. We got Boyd Hogan, Christopher Hill, and Tanner Love in the channels with us. Tanner Love, you got a copy?
Oh, we got you.
Tanner Love coming in third again. I think we've talked before, Tanner, and that I don't think it was the second place you got before, wasn't it? Maybe not. I think I just lost Tanner Love. Let's go to second place, Christopher Hill. Christopher Hill, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Keep that. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to run back down to Tanner Love right quick. We're having some difficulties tonight, so hold on real quick, Chris. Keep that tongue tied up, and I'll be right back with you. Tanner Love, you got back with us?
Yeah, I got you guys. Sorry about all that. I'm having some issues right now.
Yeah, we're all having like communication issues tonight. Half our race wasn't broadcast. Finished third place tonight, Tanner. How was that race for you tonight?
It was all right. I was just trying to figure out which line was the right line to run, but ultimately that caution came out and gave us a chance to get back up at the front and got there in P3.
Yeah, that late race caution I thought was going to be a game changer there. Christopher Hill comes up from 23rd into second, and I thought he was going to do something great here. But P3 is a great points for you tonight, and that puts you, I don't know where that puts you in the standings. We'll have to let the dice roll there and see where it ends up. But it was a great run tonight. How do you think you handled throughout the race? Did we lose you again, Tanner? Well, we lost Tanner again. So we're going to say congratulations on your third place finish there, Tanner. And are you back, buddy?
I'm back. I appreciate it, though.
All right, Tanner. Go ahead and give us a shout-out, some sponsors before we lose you again.
Shout out to Legacy, all the guys over there working hard. Boyd, appreciate you having us and all that. Appreciate everybody that's working hard over there. great group of guys. Can't ask for anything better. Appreciate Reaper Speed Labs. Was it Bruzy and everybody that's helping supporting us over there, and keep the season rolling.
All right, congratulations again. Nolan, you got anything for Tanner?
Well, the last race coming up is, of course, going to be in Las Vegas before we take that 1 week bye week. But, of course, the action will not stop there as we continue on with the Super Cup Series. What are your plans, though, coming into the season finale here for the first season of 2021 for the main ButtKicker Cup Series?
I'm not too sure. I'm actually in the middle of moving, to be honest. So I'll be moving to a new city here soon. So hopefully I have the internet up and running, and
and hopefully it works better than what you have now, buddy. We lost Tanner again. Let's move on to Christopher Hill. Christopher, you got a copy?
Yes.
I just keep dropping.
That's fine, Tanner. We got everything we need to know from you, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys.
Congratulations on your third place. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
It's going.
We thought the end of this race that you got to run. Did you give a little break to Boyd there?
No. I gave him all I had.
Well, second place is phenomenal. Like I said earlier, you went from 23rd to second. Were you just kind of sitting back there and letting everybody think that you weren't going to be able to get up there, or what?
Well, I mean, dirty air and just traffic in general is a pain to maneuver. So by the time I got up to the top 3, I was 5.5 seconds back. And I think even when the caution came out 100 laps later, I was still riding at like maybe 6 seconds back. So, I mean, I just kind of plateaued even. And I mean, the caution gave me a chance, but I mean, I gave it all I had. I was scorching the tires just trying to get to his bumper. I mean, we're so even. I mean, I wasn't just going to drive around him. I'd have to use the bumper.
I got you. Now, we talked a little bit about that dirty air. Me up here as an announcer, you as a driver, give us your explanation on dirty air so the viewers can understand this a little bit more. Did we lose Chris too?
It would appear as though we have, unfortunately.
Well, no, let's go ahead and try to reach our race winner.
Mr. Boyd hogging all the wins. Hogan, yeah, I got a copy?
I got you.
Well, Boyd, it was certainly an interesting run for you. You were one of the guys that took the 2-stopper. Usually see you take a 1-stop race today. Was it the tires that caused you to just want to come down for that second pit stop?
No, it was just overall. You need to save so much fuel to make it on one stop that it's just you're faster with 2, and there's not a whole lot of situations that usually happens in, but unfortunately, sometimes you're put in that box, and I mean, it sucks. Like, our car was terrible until we get 25, 30 laps into the run, and then after that, it's like I haven't seen anybody be quicker than that all week, so I wish it was, a solid 60 lapper to the end, but it's not quite cut that even, so we had to be smart about it, had to just, I guess once we got the lead out there by 3-4 seconds, whatever it was, at the first stop, it was just kind of whenever Jonathan or whenever Chris came down we could come a lap later, and we were just going to be able to come out in front of them anyways. So it was more so just a defensive strategy and trying to be smart.
And it was completely greened as well in the race, and it was looking to be another walk-away win for you. Then, of course, we get the caution with 7 laps to go. Were you looking a little bit nervous there? Because you were looking close to losing the lead there as you were approaching that white flag.
I mean, always, I know how good the cars that we have are, and I know how good Chris is. I mean, I test with the guy every day, and, same thing goes with Tanner. So anytime you see one of ours in the mirror, it's a little bit different. But, no, I mean, it's kind of, you get used to it, and you kind of just fight every battle as they come to you, and don't really sweat the small stuff, and usually we can close it out. Plus, it's the whole league here is a really good group of guys. I mean, there's more often than not we're going caution free or just having one or two. So I mean, you can trust everybody to use their head and not really put you in a bad spot. And that's more the trouble that comes with late race restarts. So it wasn't too bad.
And you mentioned to us before the broadcast today that you are not going to be able to join us for the season finale because I think you were going to Road to Pro, I believe it was. Talk to us about your plans for that series and kind of say just what the plans are going to be for you moving forward there.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously at Legacy, myself, Chris, Tanner, everybody over there has been pretty heavily involved with the Coke series the last year with Ray Alfala, Jake Nichols, and Garrett Lowe. And so we've got a good solid program going on for Coke right now, and it's just I feel like as far as my sim racing goes, and as far as a lot of us, I mean, no offense, I love Ray, Jake, and G-Lo, but I don't want to be building for them in a year. I want to be building for me, and that's the attitude going in. It's really just show up, and I mean it's trucks, so it's a little bit different. It's a learning curve, and it's something we've all kind of been thrown through the loop with. But at the end of the day, I mean, we got the smartest group of guys out there. I think overall, it's the best team on the sim in my opinion. So there's nothing we can't overcome, and we'll roll through Road to Pro. Hopefully get the black license, go pro, and be racing for a couple $100,000 next year. And in the meantime, go chase after it with G-Lo and the boys later on.
Only positive thoughts then for Boyd Hogan, it would appear, with his plans for Road to Pro and hopefully the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series going through for the 2022 season. Before we let you go here, any sponsors you'd like to thank today, Boyd?
Yeah, I got to thank Jetta DeBruzzi. He's done a lot for us. Kale Gale Force, Plan B Sales, I know just came on with Kale's development team, and I know they're associated with us, obviously. So got to thank those guys. Also got to thank Reaper Speed Lab, everybody over there helping me run it. Trayton Lapsovich, Austin Derbyshire, Chris Hale, Randall Falks, Robbie Keneally, everybody who puts in the work there week after week, just trying to put out good stuff for the public to use and go win some races. So got to thank everybody over there. Bobby, obviously, Bobby Earnhardt, Legacy, and everybody that's part of it. A huge thank you to Garrett Lowe for turning all the laps this week. I didn't have the energy to do it. I didn't care too much to do it. He took the reins and probably put in 1,500 laps just trying to get the score ready for Coke on Tuesday. And obviously we didn't sneak out the win there, but a top 5 run's a good way to start the season. And I'm glad we can kind of at least extend the points lead to where maybe there's a chance we can clinch it next week, even with Chris and I being gone for Road to Pro and Tanner as well.
Now, Boyd, I heard that everybody said thank you to, and I'm missing 2 people in that conversation. And I know these people are probably watching right now, and they would be really disappointed if you didn't give them a shout out. So who are these 2 people?
I never forget them. So my grandma and grandpa, know they're watching. My grandma's messaging me every Thursday before the race. Excited about it, wanting the link to the stream. So you guys do a phenomenal job putting it on, and I know they enjoy watching it. So got to thank them, say hi to them. It's been a little while since I've seen them. Got to go.
Well, we do definitely enjoy having them viewing this, and I just wanted to make certain. You got a little long-winded there, and I didn't know if you were going to forget about everybody. You got to practice that a little bit more because you'll be talking about a lot more in the future, I'm afraid. So get all your interviews down packed, buddy, because you're going to have a lot of them. I appreciate it, and we'll miss you next week, and can't wait to see you on the Road to Pro.
I appreciate it, Al. Thanks, guys.
And well, it does look like that is going to about do it then here for now round number 11 of the IRC Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series. Next race will be the season finale at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That is bound to be one phenomenal race, as this has been this one. No doubt an intense championship fight coming up ahead of us between Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman. I've been Ola Repo bringing you all the action from start to finish with Al Kozlowski behind the cameras and Rob Melnick more or less behind the cameras for today's race. We thank you all for joining us for another round of Thursday night action, and we'll see you all next week.